Okay, so I'm in Panama City, Florida, and you're looking at a parking lot right now. And you're probably asking, okay, why are you looking at this parking lot? What's the significance of it? Well, first of all, it's right here by the old paper mill, which closed about 2 years ago, not operational, but that's not why I'm here. What if I was to tell you that one of the most significant events in American history happened right here, and we're still benefiting from it today, at least a lot of people who are arrested? Let me explain to you, okay? In this parking lot where I'm sitting right now used to be a place called the Bay Harbor Pool Room. This was like back in the 60s, and I want to say in 1960, I believe it was, there was a burglary that took place. And somebody came in and stole a bunch of money and stuff like that from the Bay Harbor Pool Room, and I think maybe even some alcohol. But anyway, they decided to charge this drifter. His name was Clarence Earl Gideon. And he was just a homeless guy and a drifter, but he was actually arrested for that crime and was put on trial. But the thing is, since he was a drifter and didn't have any money, well, he couldn't afford an attorney. So he had to defend himself, and he ultimately lost and ended up getting convicted of that crime, even though he didn't do it. Well, he got sent to prison. And while he was in prison, he wrote the U.S. Supreme Court, explained the situation, saying, he didn't feel like, that he could defend himself because he wasn't a lawyer, and he said that, he couldn't afford a lawyer, and he said he wanted something done about that. He wanted to have a retrial. Well, the U.S. Supreme Court, reviewed it and everything, and then, it went through a bunch of processes, and eventually he was granted a new trial and was eventually acquitted for that crime. Now, I don't know if they ever actually caught the person who actually did the crime, but here's the thing, okay? Because of that particular incident, that is now why, if you get arrested, that they'll tell you, if you can't afford an attorney, that one will be appointed to you. That law went into effect all because of an event that happened right here where the Bay Harbor Pool Room was. When somebody broke into it, and Clarence Earl Gideon was, convicted of that, and he couldn't afford counsel because, like I said, he was a drifter. So that's why whenever you see somebody get arrested, or maybe you've been arrested, I've never been arrested myself, but that's why you see, like on TV, when they say that, if you can't afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you, that was because of an incident that happened right here. Now, if you'd like to find out more about that, there is a movie that was filmed, I believe, in like 1980, I believe it was, and Henry Fonda plays Clarence Earl Gideon. It's called Gideon's Trumpet, and the last time I checked, and don't quote me on this because it's been a while since I checked, but the last time I noticed it was on YouTube, and Henry Fonda plays Clarence Earl Gideon. It's a whole story about the whole process. If you ever want to check that movie out, please do. It's really good. It's really enlightening. But yeah, it's hard to believe that one of the major laws that we have now in our country happened right here in Panama City. As a result of an event that happened right here in this exact parking lot. So anyway, just thought you might find that pretty interesting. A little history there for you, okay? Alrighty, I'm going to go drive around Panama City a little bit, and I'll talk to you soon. Practice and enjoy.